Hey, essays, what's up? And today it's due Monday. Fuck. And what's up? And today I'm gonna do an album review, another album review. I know, I've been doing a lot of album reviews, and not a single movie or TV show review in September, but I'll do them, I promise. And, but yeah, I'll be talking about the new Idols album, Joy as an Act of Resistance, and that's why I'm using my British accent for this review. So if you don't know who Idols is, I know my British accent isn't really that great, but I'll try. It's a practice, okay? So if you don't know who Idols is, they are a post-punk band formed in Bristol, United Kingdoms, and they have released their debut album Brutalism last year, which is one of my favorite rock albums last year, and Brutalism is packed with groovy and lyrical songs with angry, raw, intense and passionate performances. And I also really love the gravelly and raspy vocals from the vocalist Joe Talbot. And now, the next year, they have released Joy as an Act of Resistance as their sophomore album. So yeah, I'm gonna use my American accent again, because it's getting a little obnoxious. But anyway, Joy as an Act of Resistance is a huge improvement from Brutalism, even though Brutalism is already pretty damn good. And on Joy as an Act of Resistance, it's way more socially charged and politically charged, yet it stays being thoughtful and being meaningful and reasonable, and I love that. Also, instrumentally speaking, the drum beats are way more tighter and way more solid on this album. The guitar riffs are way more memorable, way more positive and catchy, and the lyrics, they are mostly tongue-in-cheek and fun to sing along to on this album. So overall, I really like how this album sounds. The album starts off with Colossus, which is immediately one of my favorite singles of the year so far, once I heard it. 'Cause damn, this track is intense as fuck. We start off with these deep bass guitars pummeling in the background, and they sound like they're about to burst at any moment. It sounds like they're warning us. And then we get these heavy thumping drums, and it just slowly builds up to a climax where Joe Talbot says, "It goes and it goes and it goes, goes and it goes and it goes." And then it keeps on building up and building up and building up until it suddenly stopped. And then for like 7 or 6 seconds, it's complete silence. Until it suddenly explodes into this chaotic monster, this crazy, demented, monstrous climax, explosion. It's insane. And I also love the lyrics of this track. It's about regret, it's about hatred. I am my father's son, his shadow weighs a ton. And damn, what an epic album opener. It's already one of my favorite Idol songs so far, so if I have to give it a score, I'd give it a 10 out of 10. And then up next we have Never Fight a Man with a Perm. And this track is a track against brainless muscleheads, also similar to the track Samaritans, which is one of their singles. And this track is pretty fiery, pretty amazing. Oh my gosh. The drums, they are very speedy. It sounds like horse riding. And we also get these dreaded, jagged guitars going. And when you listen to that guitar riff, you know something's about to explode. And then Joe Talbot comes in. Brio cream, guillotine, and a bag of Charlie Sheen. And in the middle of the song, of course, before you hit the chorus, the beat kind of changes and it becomes very loud and destructive and passionate. Concrete and leather. And damn, this is the kind of track that heats me up and warms me up for something insane to come. And I also have to give this track a 10 out of 10. And then next track is I'm Scum. And it's a more clowny song that sounds like it's trying to parody someone, while it isn't. But I like how I guess I like the sense of humor of Idols. They make their song a little goofy and a little clowny and dancey, just to, you know, poke fun at the thing they're talking about. And on I'm Scum, Joe Talbot is basically framing himself for not being perfect enough, for not being good enough. You know, I like the very dense and peppy bass and drums. They go together really well. And I like how the chorus sounds like a thunder strike. It's very loud and repetitive, but in a very good and awakening way. And da 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 da. And one of my favorite lines of this track is, "This snowflake is an avalanche." You know, and it's a really, really funny metaphorical description of a snowflake, where Joe Talbot references himself, sort of. And yeah, I really love this track as well. I'm giving it a 9 out of 10. And the next track is Danny Nedelko, which is basically the second single leading up to this album. And I didn't like it that much at first, but it grew on me so much. And this track is about immigrants and how we should accept them and how we should, you know, bring them to our world and welcome them. And it's really catchy, lighthearted, forward-thinking, and positive. I love it. This track is the immigrant's anthem. This is the immigrant's anthem. It's so amazing. It's about change. It's about unity. And it's incredibly bright and fun and colorful. My blood brother is an immigrant, a beautiful immigrant. And the bass guitars are amazing as well. And damn, the lyrics on this track, they are incredible. He's made of bones, he's made of blood, he's made of flesh, he's made of love, he's made of you, he's made of me, unity. And Joe Talbot kind of channels his inner Yoda. Fear leads to panic, and panic leads to pain. Pain leads to anger, anger leads to hate. Yada 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 yeah, yada 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 yeah. And it's catchy as fuck. Yada 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 I'm giving it a 10 out of 10. I could literally sing the whole song out. And then, surprisingly, we have Love Song, which is more spacey, more mid-paced and slow. It's a slow jam. And it's surprising, because it doesn't sound like any tracks off of Brutalism except for Slow Savage. And I don't like Slow Savage that much, but this track worked really well, because it's funny. It's about modern love and how cheap it is, how fake it is. And instead of being a little ranty and being a little whiny, this track is actually way more funnier, more exciting and colorful. And yeah, there are some really funny lyrics here, like "I carried a watermelon," or "This mother love, this mother love, la 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 la." And it just reinforces the insanity of this track a lot. I'm giving Love Song an 8 out of 10. And then we have June, which is also a surprisingly moody, atmospheric, and strange song from Idols with the despondent, slow, and moody guitars. It almost reminds me of Swans, especially The Glowing Man, a little bit. But instead of being very long-winded and very post-rock-ish like Swans, it's packed into around 4 to 5 minutes long. And this track is really interesting. I don't like it that much at first, but it grew on me so much. And I like the gentle, thumpy drums as well as the drony keys and the fuzzy but extremely tortured vocal from Joe Talbot. And when you dive into the lyrics of this track, you'll realize that this track is way more emotional and dark, plain dark, because this track is about a loss of a newborn child. And towards the end of the track, Joe Talbot kind of talks about these baby shoes. They were never worn, and it's just heartbreaking and painful. And for that reason, I'm giving this track an 8 out of 10. But to light things up once again, we have Samaritans, which is an incredible track, incredible single as well. And similar to Never Fight a Man with a Perm, this track is about toxic masculinity, the mask of masculinity. And I also like how Joe Talbot says, you know, when you wear the mask of masculinity, it wears you back. And that's why toxic masculinity sucks so much. And I couldn't agree more with this track. This track, the lyrics, the concept, it's on point. And I do vibe with that a lot. And I really like the memorable jumpy drums and the washed out, watery, soaring guitars that are abrasive and nasty and ambitious as well. And the lyrics, they are tongue-in-cheek, they're catchy and fun to sing along to. Man up, sit down, chin up, pipe down, socks up, don't cry, drink up, just lie, grow some balls, he said, grow some balls.
Man up, sit down, chin up, pipe down, socks up, don't cry, drink up, just lie, grow some balls, he said, grow some balls.
I can memorize the whole song. It's amazing. Simple lyrics, on point concept, great song. And the chorus is pretty amazing. I like how the last sentence of the chorus, like, that's why you'll never see your father, and then it sort of stops a little, and then it sort of stops a little, and you only hear the drums for a couple of seconds, and then the washed out soaring guitars chime back in again, and it's very musically satisfying. I'm giving Samaritans a 10 out of 10. And then we have Television, which also has a very strong point, very strong concept behind it. I'm running out of time here. But yeah, basically this track is against media's standards for beauty. And once again, I couldn't agree more. The media is portraying these celebrities as very beautiful people, you know, with their thick lips and their wet, smooth skin. Like, love yourself, okay? Don't follow the media, okay? Jeez. And this track is really fun and exciting, and I really love the guitars. They sound like a good morning, you know? They sound like a sunny, good, chill morning. And I also like how post-punkish the instrumentals are. They are really meat and potatoes post-punk.
I go outside and I feel free, 'cause I smash mirrors and fuck TV.
And the chorus is disorienting and fun and absurd. 'Cause I smash mirrors and fuck TV. And I'm giving Television an 8 out of 10. The next track is great, because it's a great track. And this track sort of criticizes England and pokes fun at the Brexiteers. Blighty wants his country back. 50-inch screen in his cul-de-sac. And the chorus is also sort of funny, a little clowny, but also kind of meaningful and forward-thinking and positive at the same time. And I also like how Idles is spelling words all the time in this album. G-R-E-A-T. That's great. G-R-E-A-T. And yeah, it's a great song. It's socially charged, yet very positive and catchy. And I also really like the anthemic lead guitars after the chorus. It really spices this track up really much. I'm giving Great a 9 out of 10. And then we have Graham Rock, which is an oddball on the track list. It's like a joke song, sort of. And it's odd, it's unorthodox, it's non-linear, and it's absurd. And it also has some really crazy, wacky lyrics, like 10 points to Gryffindor, or sorry your granddad's dead, lovely spread. And I guess the lyrics are really funny, but I'm just not a big fan of the melodies. They are kind of weak, and the drony guitars doesn't really help much to this track.
Let's go to win. bada bada bing, I'm the king.
However, I do kind of like the drum intro to this track. I think it's really tasteful. So I'm giving Graham Rock a 7 to a 6 out of 10. Sorry. But the album ends off really nicely with two amazing tracks. First off, it's Cry to Me, which is a Solomon Burke cover. Yes, a 12 bars blues soul cover. But it's way more monstrous here, it's way more dark here, and it's way more intense here with the slow thumping drums and the very jagged guitars. And it sounds like dark humor and in musical form, and I love it a lot. Don't you feel like crying? I'm giving it an 8 out of 10. And the album ends off with Rottweiler, which is a fiery, flamey closer. It's on fire, and it leagues better than Slow Savage, which is the album ender for their last album. The lyrics, they are way more absurd and fun and refreshing since the lyrics of a bulk of the album are also very politically charged and socially charged and straight up, on point. But the lyrics here is way more absurd, way more abstract and weird, and it's sort of funny and it's really refreshing. There is snake in my boots, there's a rat in my cage, and damn, the chorus. Rottweiler, Rottweiler, Rottweiler. And I've actually heard idols play this song in their live shows starting from 2016 to 2017. They play this song a lot during live, but they finally release it now, and I love it. The guitars, they are whack, and it's just this aggressive and linear track until the end with a cacophonous finish. The track, it just ends off in an extremely chaotic and demented fashion. It's truly ears hurting, but in a very satisfying way. And I have to give it a 9 out of 10. A strong 9 out of 10 for this track. I love it so much. And overall, I think the new Idols album, Joy is an Act of Resistance, is pretty bloody amazing. Not going to lie. It's a huge, massive improvement from Brutalism with the solid tunes and the very fun, forward-thinking guitar riffs. And I also like how aggressive and passionate the performance is, as always. I love the raspy and the monstrous and the tongue-in-cheek performance from Joe Talbot. The drum beats are even more tighter and even more on point, and the lyrics, the guitars, the performance itself, the concept, the overall tone of the album, they contribute so much to the overall persona of the album, and that's what makes this album stand out to me so much. And I don't know, I love this album. I love this album. All right. Well, it's not perfect, but the worst is Graham Rock, and the best is Colossus. I am giving Idols, Joy is an Act of Resistance, a 9 out of 10. So, have you listened to the new Idols album, Joy is an Act of Resistance? From 1 to 10, how much did you rate it? Like if you like it, and subscribe if you want more.